He felt Salah's arm around him. He was kissing her forehead now. And quote, "Good night." And quote. And quote. This was another attempt of the year. She was silent for a few moments, then she said a little nervously, and quote, "Salah," and quote. Salah took a deep breath and opened his eyes. And quote. "What's wrong with you?" And quote. And quote. And quote. "No way." And quote. And quote. "The situation," and quote, "was," and quote, "necessary," and quote, "but the truth was," and quote, "harmful," and quote. And quote. "You have cried so much with me." And quote. He finally complained. And quote. "I was a bit upset because of some office problem. That's why I cried." He apologized. He was lying in his bed. And quote. "What kind of problem?" And quote. And quote. And quote. Hot Rata Hain. Imam. "You just don't worry if the future is ever like this. Don't worry. Don't ask me more questions. I will fix myself." And quote. There was no reason for this in Imam's understanding, but she became calm. And quote. "I was worried because I thought you might have misunderstood something I said." And quote. "I didn't blame the bankers." And quote. And quote. "You can forgive 7 Bloods, it's nothing." And quote. And quote. He said, taking a deep breath once more. And quote. "You are right, there are many faults in actors too, but they look good to me. I just love actors. I ignore all their flaws." And quote. "How is it?" And quote. Sleep disappeared in Salah's eyes. And quote. She was explaining from another context. She took it in another context. And quote. "You hate real actors?" And quote. She was asking with Abu Yakini. And quote. "What you love, I can hate." Just kidding. A satisfied smile appeared on Imam's face. He also said, putting his arms around Salah. And quote. "Now I'm sleepy. You two go to sleep." And quote. And quote. He closed his eyes. He was traveling in England in his bag. 2 characteristics of the beloved are universal. He is needy and unaware of his neediness. And these 2 characteristics were also in his lover. Jalal Nasser once again felt intense jealousy. But he was jealous that she was near him. And it was his and the owner of the newspaper asked you, and these are the magazines, tell me which ones you like, I will bring them. And the news hawker called it a paper cut, on which there was a list of news and magazines. She woke up to the sound of the bell ringing in her sleep. For a while, you don't understand what he is saying. At Salah's house, he saw the news only on Sunday, and that too Salah took it from the hawker himself. He used to watch the news in his office. Now he was definitely getting news because of it. After glancing at the list, he told the hawker about a newspaper and a magazine. That news stopped him and left. He brought the newspaper inside and put it away. It was about 10 o'clock. The wind was blowing out of the window, but it was still cold. As late as the employee came, she had seen the news. The employee Aj was not alone. There was also a financier with her. He came to see Farkan's plants. He used to come to see the Salah plants on Sundays, or Naushan herself came with him. He also had a key to Salah's apartment. Aj Nushan sent him because of the presence of the Imam. She came out on her own after going to his terrace. As Mali watched him silently, he realized that he didn't need any instructions. She was doing her job expertly. She came back inside. Malam praised after noticing the food placed in the kitchen with great enthusiasm. The Imam was involuntarily happy. And quote, Baji. And quote, it's feeling like home. He said to Imam. She was vacuuming Salah's study. Imam Muskrati started to clean the dust lying on the study table of the old man. Baji. I do, you stay. The employee stopped him. And quote, no, you're too busy doing the rest. Sir, I'm doing it. And quote. And quote. She couldn't tell him that she didn't want any of the year's paper to be lost somewhere, but thinking that she had forgotten that the study table was in the house for so long. She is cleaning up. The mailbox was nearly full of sealed and open envelopes of invitations. Imam opened an envelope. It was an invitation to an iftar party. One by one, she opened all the envelopes. All causes were related to someone's iftar party or event, and in some causes he was invited to 2 or 3 places. He certainly lived a very social life. He guessed, she must not have been going to these parties for the past week because of his homecoming. There is another analysis of this. After watching 25 times, his heart was broken. He picked up the car and put it back. A sloppy look or low mail address on an envelope would probably tell the Salah's department that it was an investment, not PR. At least she could definitely catch this position. And quote, Baji. And quote, were there any guests at night? And quote, he was shocked at the voice of the oppressor. She was asking with a bit of surprise with the ashtray in her hand. And quote, no. And quote, Imam said without understanding the question. And quote, so who smoked these cigarettes? And quote, sir, you don't smoke cigarettes. The employee was very surprised. Imam could not speak for a long time. The employee was verifying the statement of Jayasalah. That is, they are not really ordinary. Even if they smoke half a cigarette, the employee will think that it is a guest's cigarette. And quote, oh, yes. Friends used to come to his house. I don't remember. Imam said after a few moments. Before he could speak some more, the bell rang again. And quote, I see. Imam came out after saying this. They have come to collect the laundry. And quote, a boy was standing at the door with an old man's kitchen cleaner and dirty clothes hangers. Growing up with a bill on his side, he said. And quote, check it out. And quote. And quote. Along with the bill was a list of clothes sent for laundry. After bringing the hangers to the lounge, Imam started to match the laundry list and the clothes. The clothes were complete. The employee came out till then. Imam went inside to take Bill's money. When he returned, he saw the servant at the door handing a laundry bag to the laundry boy, on which a list was pasted. Of course it was a laundry list of clothes. The laundry boy was scribbling on a writing pad. And quote, Baji. And quote, how much do you have to give to? The employee saw him coming and said, and quote, no, I have come to pay the bill. And quote, Imam raised the amount of the bill towards the boy. In response, he extended a receipt to her. And quote, the bill is collected at the beginning of the month. The employee stopped him. She came in closing the door. Imam looked at the receipt. It was a list of Salah's clothes that he took. And quote, where did you get the laundry clothes from? And quote, Imam stopped the servant after reading this list. And quote, Salah Saheb is put in a cloth bag and placed on the list. They are keeping the bag in the laundry and quat, said the employee and went inside. Again, Imam looked at the bill. She could do the laundry herself. It was a waste of money to spend on it every week, he thought. The servants were still there when a man came with the veil which he had given him to weave. And quat, Baji, and quat, have you made any curtains? And quat, the employee raised the receiver and asked him when the intercom bell rang. Imam Kacha was surprised. And quat, yes. Why? And quat, and quat, and quat, he brought a man to the gate below, and quat. Gara asks over the intercom. Yes. Send it. Baji has made the curtains. The employee told this and said into the receiver. Putting down the receiver, she started cleaning the lounge again. While cleaning the glass seat on the kitchen counter with a cloth, Imam's strange feeling subsided. He had seen the intercom many times, but he did not understand the use of the intercom when the door was so close. The servant was using everything in this house with more intelligence, skill and facility. Asterisk and quat. Salah, and quat. The lounge is looking good, isn't it? And quat. Salah took a look at the new window covering the lounge. He just came home a few minutes ago. The Imam announced this while entering the world of immense happiness. He could not ignore this and quat. Obvious and quat. Change even as he stepped into the lounge. And quat. A lot. And quat. He said, hiding his disappointment. Imam looked at Pardu in a dignified manner. He used to do it on the way to breaking the fast. Imam had broken his fast at Furqan's house and now he was having dinner with Dunu. And quat. How was your day today, sir? And quat. And quat. Salah asked him while starting to eat. She started telling him the whole day's activities. Today was the first detailed conversation between the two. Salah called twice that day, for a minute or so, but the matter was only up to date. That is, I had to do a lot of work today. Salah said after hearing the details of his day. And quat. What work? And quat. What did I do? I didn't do anything. Imam looked at him a little surprised. And quat. Whatever has been done is too much. And quat. And quat. And quat. I'll do your laundry myself starting next week. And quat. Imam said, considering Salah's words. And the press will also be done. And quat. And quat. I didn't bring you clothes to wash. And quat. Salah interrupted him. And quat. I know, but I'm busy all day and then I have to wash my own clothes. So I can wash yours too. And quat. And quat. And quat. Why will you wash your clothes too? And quat. The laundry van comes every week. Give yours too. Salah stopped eating and said. And quat. Money will be wasted. And quat. He said helplessly. And quat. No problem. Salah shrugged his shoulders in the same way. Imam saw his face. And quat. And what do you do all day? And quat. And quat. And quat. That's what other women do. Sleep. Watch TV. Chat with a friend on the phone. He smiled. And quat. I don't have any friends. She became serious. Salah looked at his face with a little surprise. And quat. What will happen? And quat. And quat. And quat. No, there isn't any. And quat. And quat. And quat. Why? And quat. She was thinking while eating, then she said. And quat. In college and university, you were so scared that you never thought of making friends. If there is friendship, then there are questions. About me. About the family. Then if someone comes home and knows Abu's family already. Or Saeed Amahi. Friendship was a very expensive thing at that time. Couldn't do it. Then in the office, there is a lot of gossip with colleagues, but I was so used to being alone that I was never comfortable with people. I couldn't hang out with them anymore. I couldn't go to their house. I couldn't call my house. How could I be a friend? That's why I liked reading books, painting. What happened? And quote. You want to correspond with people, you want to be friends. The first thing was different, but now you want to socialize. It's your home now, you colleagues invite them or at least talk to them on the phone. He understood this very seriously. And quote. You are a socialite. Yourself. That's why you are saying that. And quote. Imam replied. And quote. Yes, my job requires me to be social. And quote. There are functions after the month of Ramadan. There are also some. You will meet some friends too. You will feel good. He said to her. And quote. I have seen you on the table. Iftar, Karaz of Inners. And quote. You are not leaving my face. Imam said. And quote. No, I don't go to iftar parties or dinners. And quote. Salah said in a quick manner. And quote. Why? He was surprised. And quote. Because I understand that parties are a joke in the month of Ramadan. I do not go to anyone's house for iftar in the month of Ramadan. And quote. But you go to Farkan's house. And quote. Imam said casually. He smiled. At this time, he came from Farkan's house and was asking for food. And quote. I have been eating at Farkan's house even before the month of Ramadan, and if he calls me for iftar or dinner, I do not hesitate to eat. And quote. We say that which is cooked in his house in general day, but it is not cooked in his house in general day. Salah pointed to the 3 cheeses lying on the table. And quote. Then he was more surprised. And quote. Furkan and sister-in-law are taking care of you. Because we are newly married, so they are taking care of you in Suri and Iftar, otherwise we said. Simply, they don't eat. In the month of Ramadan, we spend half of the usual month for our kitchen. And with half of the money, we buy rations for a whole month for a person and a family. Your food is getting cold. Salah pointed out. He finished eating himself and was now eating dessert. This was the tradition of actor Sabat Ali's house. In the month of Ramadan, the ration used to come to his house was reduced to half. The ration of the 2 servants of the house for the month of Ramadan came from the price of the remaining ration. Imam Salah then directed him towards the food. She started eating. Salah had also finished the dessert and was waiting for him to finish eating. He was busy texting himself on cell phone. He had changed to some extent, and the change in him was to some extent due to the actor and to some extent his own thinking. It was difficult to guess. He always eats food. Waiting to start eating used to do while eating food. He would always put some food in his plate and get up from the dining table only after finishing his food. She did not want to notice these things, but she could not live without these notices. It was strange. And quote. Strange. And quote. Other than this, no other word came to the mind of Imam. After dinner, they used to go to buy kitchen utensils at night. Imam, if he had not heard Salah's words, he would have made a long list for the kitchen, but he was very careful while shopping. Containers and jars were the most commonly purchased items. He used to buy very few cooking utensils. Today he drank coffee from another place. And quote, "Is your problem solved?" Unquote. Imam suddenly remembered in the village. And quote, "Who is the problem?" Unquote. Salah looked at him in shock. And quote, "The one you were worried about every night." Imam reminded him. He grew up involuntarily. And quote, "I wish it would be." Unquote. Unquote. That is, they have not. Imam thought. And quote, "It will happen." Unquote. Salah looked at him with a strange smile. And quote, "I am going to Karachi tomorrow." Salah changed his mind. And quote, "For how many days?" Unquote. Unquote. He's surprised. Unquote. Unquote. "The morning will go and the night will come. I go to Karachi 2 or 3 times a month. Will you go with me?" He laughed. Imam looked at him with surprise. And quote, "For a day?" Unquote. 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 "Yes." Unquote. Unquote. "You are leaving the office. What will I do there?" Unquote. 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 "You go shopping with Anita. She will make you crazy." "Have you ever been there before?" Salah asked. And quote, "No." Unquote. She was getting a little excited. He liked the sea, and for the first time in his life he got a chance to see the sea. And quote, "I tie up with Anita in the program. In the office, you with my sister in the night. We can celebrate the same kind of honey now." And quote. He kept asking him. He laughed. He could not tell that this freedom felt like heaven compared to the life he had been living. Asterisk asterisk. And quote, "What is this?" And quote. And quote. She was busy putting the purchased goods into the self, jars and containers when Salah came into the kitchen area with an envelope from her study room. And quote, "Here's your checkbook." And quote. Salah told him and left the envelope on the counter. Imam opened the envelope and took out the checkbook inside. A pay slip also came out with it. It was 30 lakhs. Imam felt that there was a slight misunderstanding. He looked at the slip again. It was actually 30 lakhs. Why did he deposit 30 lakhs in his account? There must have been a mistake. She took the envelope and came to the study room. Salah was doing some work on his computer. And quote, "Salah." And quote, "Do you know how big a blunder you have made?" Imam said, coming in. And quote, "What kind of blunder?" And quote. He was surprised. The Imam placed the slip in front of him near him. And quote, "Look at this." "What is this?" And quote. And quote. "There is a slip." Salah glanced at it and started looking at the top again. And quote, "How much money have you deposited into my account?" And quote. And quote. And quote. 30 lakhs. And quote. He was surprised. And quote. "There is still a few, 7 lakh and a few. In a few months he will also be 2. He said in a cursory manner while typing. And quote. "But why will you give it to me?" And quote. For whom he was surprised. And quote. "Your right is guaranteed." And quote. Salah said in this way. And quote. "My right is 2 lakh rupees." Imam thought that maybe he has forgotten. And quote. "Oh dear, I want to give you more rights," Salah said, with a shrug. And quote. "But this is too much, sir." And quote. And quote. she became serious. Unquote. Unquote. Who asked you to give me this much money? Unquote. 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 You wrote me this amount yourself. Salah looked away from the monitor, smiling this time, and looked at it. Unquote. When did I? Unquote. She paused. Unquote. That's why you were writing. He remembered. Unquote. Yes. Unquote. His indifference was still there. Unquote. You were crazy. Unquote. Imam laughed uncontrollably. Unquote. Perhaps. Unquote. Salah said blankly. Unquote. Well, what do you do with 1 billion letters? Unquote. She was teasing him. Unquote. You gave 1 billion also. Unquote. 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 What was generous? Unquote. Where are you from? Unquote. Do you care? She was furious. Unquote. Why do you do it? Unquote. And Salah disagreed. Unquote. The whole life continues to earn, then? Unquote. 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 Ikar Hota, I will be in debt to you all my life. It's really good. Why do you want 1 billion? Unquote. He said with a smile. Imam had a glimpse of the old man from many years ago. Unquote. Why are you here? Unquote. He looked at her seriously and said. Unquote. You're a wife, that's why. Unquote. Unquote. Where did you get so much money? Unquote. Imam. My name is Mary Seongs. Salah said impatiently. Unquote. There are savings, so why are you visiting me? Unquote. She was a bit surprised. Unquote. My heart wants. I want you. Unquote. If the whole world was mine, I would give the whole world to you. I am earning and I will get ours. It doesn't matter to me. Asterisk, 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 he said with a smile. Imam had a glimpse of the old man from many years ago. Unquote. Why are you here? Unquote. He looked at her seriously and said. Unquote. You're a wife, that's why. Unquote. Unquote. Where did you get so much money? Unquote. Imam. My name is Mary Seongs. Salah said impatiently. Unquote. There are savings, so why are you visiting me? Unquote. She was a bit surprised. Unquote. My heart wants. I want you. Unquote. If the whole world was mine, I would give the whole world to you. I am earning and I will get ours. It doesn't matter to me. Unquote. But such a large amount. Salah interrupted him. Unquote. I didn't want to give so much money, but I wanted to seal your favor, so I asked you to write a figure. You know the figure you wrote? That was the amount executed in my account that day. He was laughing as he repeated the number. Unquote. What will you say to this, father? Unquote. I didn't agree. I thought that amount was your trust. All right. So you have to. Ts Lak Dr has borrowed some amount from you. Otherwise in the next 2 to 3 months, he is asking for more. So you keep this money comfortably. I will ask you if it is necessary. Do you work for me? Unquote. Imam did not say no. She closed the door and came out. Sitting on the chair of the dining table, she looked at the slip once again. She could never understand this person. Never. She wasn't crazy. At least she hadn't felt this way in so many days. But she wasn't wise either. At least that's what she was telling him on the slip. If she wanted to please him. So she was not She wanted to look good, yes. Her shoulders started to droop. She wanted this from someone else in her life. She asked for such favors from him. Hey. His presence was wet. He was not making money, but he was making charity which he was suffering. She was wanting to be equal to him. Not being able to be equal. This person was not getting taller, rather his very existence was beginning to shrink. Imam. We are going this evening instead of tomorrow morning. They will stay in Karachi for the night and then they will come back every night. There is a 7 o'clock flight. I will pack for you at 5 o'clock in the evening, you pack. And quote. He called around 12 o'clock and told the new program of Karachi from the office. He got a bit nervous. So quick packing, that's right, they're taking it for one night. Still, he was telling her about the clothes he wanted to take with him. She was very busy doing Peking. He was there at 5 o'clock. She knew that he would have broken his fast in the village, but still she brought him food and juice in a box. He is also saying things while talking to the two in the airport. By the time he reached the airport, the drilling had started. He was traveling in first class. That's why Salah was satisfied despite being late due to traffic. Boarding the plane from the executive lounge, Salah's first-class floor, and passengers are greeted with greetings. He also introduced the Imam to some of them. All of them belonged to the corporate sector or were annual customers. A few minutes after the plane took off, an executive from another company approached Salah to inquire about a matter. After talking to him for a few moments, Salah excused himself and went to his seat with the executive. She sat waiting for him for a while, then got bored and picked up a magazine. Salah's return came 5 minutes after the announcement of the lead. He said and quote, sorry and quote, and sat next to him and started to fasten his seat belt. And quote, aren't you bored? And quote, no. I had a lot of fun. He replied with extreme embarrassment. He said, don't take your eyes off the single. Salah calmly took the magazine from her hand and stopped the air hostess passing by. She thanked and left. This is rude. Imam protested in a muffled voice after his departure. And quote, yes, but you are not seeing me, he said, with assurance and confidence. Imam does not know whether he is angry or laughing. And quote, the things you are doing to these people, you have never done to me. And quote, he laughed at her complaint. And quote, there are customers of the bank. They pay for these things. And quote, he looked at Salah with some blame. And quote, how materialistic you are. And quote, yes, you are. And quote, he replied calmly. And quote, I can give you money too. And quote, he was shocked at his sentence. And quote, oh, I forgot. You are richer than me. And quote, I am also a customer of the bank and I am also your debtor, so it is my duty to talk to you, he said smiling. And quote, bankers. And quote, she began to say. Salah stopped him by putting his hand on his lips and said, and quote, I don't want to spoil your trip, Imam. I'll ask you back how the bankers are. And quote, he said with a serious sigh. Imam looked at him with surprise. What was there to be serious about, he thought. They were cooked by the hotel maids on the plane. And quote, I thought we would stop at Anita's house. And quote, Imam said while sitting in the car. And quote, I never stay at Anita's house. I stay in a hotel. And quote, Salah told him. And quote, Karachi is often visited. And quote, he was looking out from the child and said to her. And quote, sometimes it can't be from end to end. And quote. And quote. Imam saw his face but did not say anything. He was busy sending some messages on the cell. He was also telling about the area on the other side of the road. And quote, then, I didn't want to come with you. And quote, from my face. Salah slapped him for saying this. Suddenly. And quote, it's nice to come with you and to meet you Anita's family. And quote, I said. Imam tried to read his face carefully. And quote, the truth has been told. And quote, he said looking into Imam's eyes. And quote, don't you like coming with me? And quote, Salah asked him once. He smiled. And quote, you are staying here for the first time with your wife. And quote. And quote. While checking in at the hotel, the boy at the reception said to the smiling old man, a few rooms of this 5-star hotel were booked permanently by Salah's bank and he was one of the regular guests in these rooms, but today was the first time he visited the hotel. He was watching. Salah nodded smilingly and began to sign. That boy was exchanging pleasantries with Abu Imam, as if all the bars around him are slowly falling. She was fascinated by the outside world, which she was introduced to because of Salah. Anita and her family arranged for him at Beach Luxury. After getting ready in half an hour, those people reached there at around 11 o'clock. Apart from Anita and her husband, some of her in-laws were also there. There was a family for the old man and his wife. It was received with great enthusiasm. After the first few months, his confusion began to fade. They were quite a liberal family, and after the official talk about their marriage, the topics of the talk changed. Imam was the chief guest, but no one put him under the table, and this added to Imam's credibility. The food was not served yet. They were chatting while having lunch. Imam was playing the role of a smiling silent listener in the story. The focus was on the sea and city lights surrounding Beach Luxury view. Those people were in open air. It was not as cold in Karachi as in Lahore, but the cold was felt here. If Salah hadn't asked him to get a warm shawl before coming, surely his teeth would have been ringing by now. All the women there wore similar shawls over their shoulders instead of sweaters. And quote, Salah. And quote, I want to go ahead and see the sea below. He whispered in a soft voice while leaning towards the old man who was sitting with him. And quote, then go. And quote, Salah said confidently. And quote, how do I go? And quote, alone like this. Come with me, Mary. He said excitedly at her advice. And quote, no, you go yourself. Look. And there are people too, you go and see. And quote, Salah said to him. He lifted the big bag in his lap and placed it on the ground and said to him in a loud voice. Imam looked at the people around the long table with a little hesitation. They were all busy talking. None of them were paying attention to him. She got some courage and opened it. Anita, who was sitting behind him, turned towards him. And quote, go and see, there is a better view than there. Anita guided him with gestures. Imam shook his head. At that time, besides this, there were some other families and Salah was living well. At some point, he would get up and look at the sea by standing on the edge of this throne-like place. She was nervous when she got up from her seat, but then she started to get back to normal. Salah was watching his son drinking cold water. Imam turned back and looked at him nervously. He smiled twice. She didn't trust him 9 years ago. Who jumped over the wall of her house in the middle of the night and entered her room. She was married to him. Then she left home. He had heard a lot from Wasim in the bar of Wasim's sister, but the girl he had been seeing for the past 10 days was not the same girl. Time had caused more pain in his life than it had caused in the girl's life as he went to the deck. Its shape and form had changed. At 9 years, if a person is separated from his family, confined to a few places with fear and pressure, he becomes somewhat confused, weak-minded, insecure, etc. Can be dependent. He used to see its practical manifestation in the state of Imam, and this thing was causing him problems. At least he didn't want to see her in this condition. And quote, Salah. Salah and quote. He was startled by Anita's voice. He hit her shoulder with full force. And quote. Either you don't send it there, now that it has been sent. Look at something else for a couple of minutes. She was waiting for him. He smiled and became a master. His brother-in-law Ghaffran kept asking him. The wind was blowing Imam's hair. She was repeatedly trying to handle the canoe by chasing it, but she was also reluctant to open it. In the strong wind, she tried to put the chiffon dress over her head, but the pashmin shawl could not prevent her thin chiffon skirt from blowing. But her body was a little shapely. Was effective in holding the breath. Today, for the first time in many years, she went to a public place without gasping for breath. It looked very strange. If she was not with Salah, she could never imagine being out in the open in such a state. Until 10 days ago, she used to cover her face while leaving the house. It was the only get-up in which she felt extremely secure. After her marriage with Salah, she wanted to hide her face, and now she felt safe with him. Looking at the image of the light reflected in the dark sea, he once again tried to put the dupatta wrapped around his neck on his head. There was no one to notice his efforts. This work was not easy with the shawl, dupta and open sand in the air. And quote. Are you in the ballroom? And quote. He flipped over as the current said. Then breathed a sigh of relief. And quote. You have given me. He looked at Salah behind him and said. Involuntarily. He did not know when he came. And quote. You will catch my dupatta? And quote. And quote. He came to Salah and held his dupatta to him. She did not look at other people. And quote. You want to tell me that it happened so fast, I can't open my hair? And quote. She was saying in a plaintive manner, while wrapping her pillow in the shape of a yoke. He was looking at her face. She was taking off her shawl and giving it to him, taking the dupatta from him. And quote. Which color is this? And quote. She answered his question by wrapping the scarf around her head and neck. And quote. Crimson. Why? And quote. And quote. Salah said, wrapping the shawl around her head. And quote. I wanted to tell you, you look very good in this color. And quote. He caressed her lower cheek very gently with his elbow. Surprise came in Imam's eyes. The next moment Salah found it difficult to decide whether his clothes were more red or his face. He took a deep breath involuntarily. And quote. Now, if you blush even on so many things, the matter will become deadly. And quote. You will beat me very fast. He chuckled. They came back to their hotel around 8 o'clock. Imam was so sleepy that he took off his jewelry and washed his face but fell asleep without changing his clothes. Imam did not know when Salah Sabah left for office. She got up around 10 o'clock. By the time she was ready to pack her things, Anita had come to pick her up. Those people checked out of the hotel at around 11 o'clock. After that she was roaming around in different malls of Karachi with Anita. Anthea did not allow him to use the loan given by Salah. On this day, she was taking him shopping. After shopping, Anita took him to her home, where he broke his fast. At 7 p.m., she left the house to take an air bath, and at the same time she was talking to Salah on the phone. He was also going towards Ir Purg. He reached the age of Salah quickly and fully. Boring had not yet begun. Once he reached the executive lounge, he started saying hello to someone. This was the flight he usually took back from Karachi, and like the rest of the regular travelers. But he was so happy at the time that he noticed the Salah and turned away. He did not object. She was happy. It was written on her face, and Salah was surprised by her happiness. This is your credit, business and money. And quote. After sitting in the lounge, he stopped Salah by taking out 2 things from his bag. Anita did not let me pay the bill. He has given all the blizzards. You do it. Imam told him. And quote. Why? It doesn't matter if he has paid. He wanted to do the same. And quote. Salah said, keeping the credit card in his wallet. He put the money in his hand back into Imam's bag. And quote. But we didn't even touch him or his family. And quote. Salah interrupted him. And quote. Next time you come, bring some for it. And quote. For 2 weeks, he is still moving into his new home. So how did you feel about Karachi? Salah changed the subject. Imam's face started to light up. Once again, she was telling him about the places where she went with Anita. Salah smiled and listened to him. She was telling the details of her shopping with childlike enthusiasm. And quote. I have also bought some gifts for Abu, Auntie and Saeed Arma. She was telling. And quote. Good and quote. Salah was impressed but did not ask about the nature of the gifts. And quote. Furqan Bai's family and your parents too. And quote. Imam. They are not only my parents, you are also related to them. Salah objected. She still remembers her father in the same way. At this time, Imam felt that he had not even bought any food for Salah. It was forgetful or careless, but it did not occur to Salah during shopping. He regretted it immensely. And quote. What happened? And quote. Salah looked at him silently and asked. She was silent for a while, then she said with some embarrassment. And quote. Salah. And quote. I didn't forget to buy you something. And quote. And quote. It's okay, if you've been shopping, you've bought mine. And quote. Salah comforted her by patting her on the shoulder with a smile. To be continued.